Welcome to the basic tutorial of our CMS, the CMS G3. In this tutorial, I will show you how to navigate in the CMS and how to create a simple static page. First of all, we have to log into the CMS with our login data. The first page you will see when you log into the CMS is the List Pages tab. Here, all the pages of your website are displayed in a list. By clicking on an entry in the List Pages tab, the corresponding page will be displayed in the page tree on the left side of the screen. The first step for the creation of a page is to select the page tree in which we want to create the page. Now, click on the English entry in the page tree. In this case, we don't want to create a page in the visible section of our website. For this, let's open the Not in Sitemap entry. To open a page, simply click on the page you want to open. The page we just opened is now displayed on the middle section of the screen. Now, as you can see, there are two pages named INM Test. We will now delete one of these pages. To delete the page, right-click on the page you want to delete. If you right-click on a page, a context menu will open. In this context menu, you can select different options like Create a Page or Delete Page. In this case, we will select the option Delete Page. To make sure you don't delete the page you didn't mean to delete, you have to confirm this action by clicking on Yes. Now, I will show you how to create a page. For this, right-click on an entry in the English section of the site. In the context menu, select the option Create Page. Now you can see the options for creating a page. The first thing to do is to assign your page a language. With the sitemap option, you can assign your page to a sitemap. The title of the page is visible for the visitors of your page. The URL name is used to address the page in your internet browser. An URL mustn't contain any spaces, so make sure the name is selected according to this. With the selection field Template, you can assign your page a specific design. With the publication date, you can set the time period in which the page will be active. If the time period hasn't begun or the time period is over, the page will be inactive. If the page also exists in the sitemap of another language, you have the option to assign the pages to each other. If caching is activated for the page will be saved in the memory of the browser of the visitor. This means the page will be loaded faster the next time the visitor opens this page. But this also means that some changes will not be visible by some visitors, because the browser uses the version of the page he saved before. With SSL, the browser will establish a safe connection via HTTPS. This requires a website to run on a special server which is configured for SSL. Otherwise, this option will not work. The splash page is a special page which will be displayed before you land on your home page. The start page is the top page of your website. It is also possible to set meta tags. Meta tags are descriptions and keywords which help to optimize your website for search engines. Robots are software from search engines and index your website for search results. You can give robots instructions on how to index your website. They can follow links and index your page, or ignore links and index your page. There is also the possibility to set the description and keywords for the page. If you click on Save, the page will be created. Now that we have a page to create content on, we need to know where exactly we can create content. For this, click on the View Containers button. You can also show already existing elements. As we don't have any elements on this page yet, it will not show anything. We don't need the filters for now, so let's just deactivate them. You probably know by now that this is the CMS toolbox here on the right side. The toolbox shows all the element categories. By clicking on the little plus icon on the side of a category, you will open the category. It will now show all the elements relating to it. As you can see now, we have a broad selection of elements at our disposal. The first element you will need is a container element. You can create this element by the drag and drop function of our CMS. Simply click and hold the button over the container element and drag it into the main view. After you drop the element, a new window will appear. This window will always appear when you create a new element, although the settings will be different for different elements. The first thing to do when creating a new container is to select the layout. The layouts will be created beforehand, so that you only have to select one out of the already existing layouts. For each layout there will be configurations available, but for now let's change to the Options tab. For elements it's possible to have different templates. With the Publication option you can change the time period in which the element is active. Click on the field and a new window will appear. Here you can select the date via a date picker, just like in a calendar. The last option is to change the padding of the element. This can be sometimes useful for little corrections. Now that all changes are done, click on the Save button to create the element. As you can see, the container element implemented a predefined design into our page. Next, we want to create an editor element in our container. Please note that if you drop the element into the main view and the desired location is not highlighted in a light gray, the element might appear in a location near the place you wanted to drop the element. We will correct this mistake here later. But now, just like before, a new window will appear. The editor is just what the name says, a small version of the WordPad editor in which you can write text, format the text and insert images or links. First, let's enter a title. In the main field, you can type in whatever you want, just like in a Word document. Now that we wrote our first text, we have to save the content. As I mentioned before, we can correct the position of our elements. You can move the element with the drag and drop function to a new location. Now, if you click on an element that is inside another element, which is most of the time a container, the element will be selected. If you hover over the little arrow icon, a context menu will open. In this context menu, you can choose if you want to edit, delete, copy, cut out, or deactivate an element. Now, let's edit this element again. As this is version 2 of our CMS, let's write this in here and save. Now, if you click on the copy sign, the element will be saved in your clipboard. To actually copy the element out of the clipboard, simply drag and drop the element out of the bottom right corner to the desired place. Now, let's try to copy a whole page. For this, right-click on the page you want to copy. The settings on this page are the same as when you create a new page. Make sure that the sitemap option is set on the location where you want to copy your page. Click on Save to copy the page. On top of the page you can see that we have now different pages in different tabs. We can change between these by clicking on them. By clicking on the little X of a tab, you can close it. Now that we have so many test pages, it's probably a good idea to delete one again. On the top left of the page is our CMS module menu. By clicking on it, a new window will open where you can select the modules. On the left are the categories you can select, and on the right the modules in the category you selected. In the same manner as with page tabs, you can change between modules. With this, you know the basics on how to create a static page, so now let's log out. Thank you for watching this tutorial.